You called it. You were correct, and it only took you one extra pick as the Oracle came out right as you said it, pretty much. So well
That
done.
was so weird that they have to know this is coming. Like Axe is already picked. Axe is usually people play in the offlane against Slark because you can't purge the Berserker's Call.
Yeah,
So that's very nice. And then Slark already counters both Night Stalker and Batrider. He counters the nighttime vision, and of course he's just good in lane against Batrider. So yeah, even Bane not great against Slark. So
yeah,
very interesting to see how they'll handle this. I guess Oracle is not good in lane.
that's
That's
true.
something that they can abuse.
That's true. And they could maybe set it up that you go tri-lane for Pepe Hands if you really want to focus on getting the Slark farmed. I'm not sure that they need to. I think Oracle, he can still do okay. Once he gets levels into the Purifying Flames, things get a little bit easier. But in terms of being defensive and getting the Slark CS, it should be fine. We'll see. Of course, against the Batrider, it's going to be really important. The Slark has the Dark Pact. He can survive pretty easily. Yeah, I think you're just right about the overall lineup, though, that Pepe Hands and the Slark is just a really good pick against these three heroes. And I'm not sure what you pick to do against him.
They've used all their bonus time.
Yeah.
Right here, pretty much.
Yeah, they have no idea. They're like, okay, well, either they weren't expecting the Slark or they, like, because usually if you know something's coming out, like, you have a response to it, right? Like, if you know the Slark is coming out, you probably have something that you're going to pick. But it looks like maybe they didn't know, and they go for the Spectre
Spectre's
instead.
good. Spectre's very good against Slark. If you dagger the Slark, he can never purge it off, so you'll always be able to track him. And good against Oracle, you know, and Skywrath Mage. These heroes melt once Haunt comes out, even before Radiance.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't deal well with the Haunt at all.
Yeah, I think this Spectre could get a lot of work done. And she's starting to, you know, in pubs, she has one of the highest win rates, actually, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I know that's not just
back.
That's not just a super low MMR, which it usually is with Spectre when people can't finish the game. You know, it's actually an all. I think it was like a 57% win rate or higher in Divine ranked.
Yep, which is insane, by the way, for so many games played.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts actually. So we'll see how he can do. She can do, excuse me. And
yeah, you better be correct.
Yeah, you got to be. The lore is important, as you and I have often talked about.
It always is.
But the Spectre will come out. A couple more bans. DK taken away. Death Prophet also taken away. So those heroes that really, like, you find a fight, you take a tower with those heroes. Those two big ones are gone. You know, in terms of actually finding objectives, I'm not sure that either team is very good at it. In fact, they both are pretty garbage at taking towers.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
So I don't know how you rectify that in the mid lane. I don't mind Lina for that, but I don't really know if you want Lina this game for either team.
Lina doesn't look good for either team.
Yeah.
Like, Axe is really good against Lina. Slark good against Lina as well. On the other side, Spectre getting on top lane. Night Stalker, same thing.
I'm curious then what people go for in the mid lane. Like, Lina's been obviously Lina's been really picked a lot, but like Kunkka, Death Prophet, like there's a lot of good mids that have just been taken away.
A lot of the ones that can actually secure objectives, DK being taken out, Razor as well, Death Prophet.
I mean,
your building hitters are gone.
I suppose you could go Invoker, kind of hits buildings, like Wind Ranger kind of hits buildings, but you don't want to play her mid. OD is just a good mid laner in general, and I think he's pretty good against Slark. Also good to, like, if the Axe jumps in and you're not the one that gets called, you can Astral Save, which is really nice.
Yep, that is a good point. OD looks fantastic. Very good against Slark. Slark does not have very much intelligence at all. OD destroys him.
Yeah, it's very true. So now I don't know what you pick against the OD to feel comfortable. I guess you could do the whole, like, Sniper or Viper thing, but I'm not sure they want to do that.
There's got to be a hero that I'm not thinking of that looks really good here.
I can't think of something right now. I can't think of what they would go for instead of, like, well, just in general. What do you pick? Storm? Viper. Okay, I was right. I was right on my first assessment. And I think that's just fine. Picking up the Viper for Pepe Hands. Being able to slow down the Spectre. Zowral Devourer might have a tough time because of it too. I actually like both of these drafts. I thought the Slark was really good when they didn't have the Spectre OD. Now that they have the Spectre and OD, it gets a little bit different. It's tough for me to say who I think is going to win. I think Pepe Hands just because I like the Oracle pick, even though he might get destroyed by Spectre. I don't actually know how this game is going to go.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird one. It really is a super snowbally game, right? If Slark gets off to a good start, meaning Batrider's also shut down, then he can really take control of this game because there's not a whole lot for him to worry about in this game. But at the same time, OD, the way he just functions against Slark makes it so difficult for Slark to even play the game. If OD's super farmed, he's going to get the Hex eventually. And even though Oracle will have the false promise to delay that and make Slark live, it's just him stacking up intelligence and one-shotting him.
This is going to be an interesting game. I was noticing before the game started on that pregame screen, I think Pepe Hands had an extra Battle Cup win. That's how you pick your winners right there.
Oh, the trophy.
Yeah. But there's some big names on the detonator side. Yaj, Abing, and the biggest one being, God, I just had it in my Jules.
Jules, yep.
Yeah. Who is playing the Night Stalker in the core role? No, I guess not. I think both of these heroes are like 4.5s, right? So, or whatever, 3.5s, whatever you want to call it.
It can kind of be played in either one, right? But yeah, actually, offlane player, Jules support.
Yeah. That should be fine. So it's going to be dual lane, off lane for 2D and the Skywrath. And it's a Night Stalker against a Batrider. So instead of having the Slark against the Batrider, they're going to send them bottom. But they saw the Batrider down there. If they want to switch things up for a Dire, they can. But they're not going to do it right now. They're going to focus on getting the runes instead. I mean, is this what you want? Don't you want the Slark against the Batrider, or is this fine?
You would definitely prefer to have the Slark up against the Batrider. It's the ideal matchup for sure, but I don't know. Very interesting.
Gonna block mid, and the OD is gonna run in and try to zone the Slark out. This is gonna be close. Who got it? The Bane did. So that's 2 for them. It's gonna be 3. Oa might die. Oh, they have Essence Shift. They didn't take Pounce, so Cat can't chase after them because the OD would just hit him a few times. But it is gonna be the Spectre top, and that was just a nice play. They block. But it's actually going to have the wave pushed in because Fixers gets a better block with the creep wave. Such that it is. Anyway.
So, obviously, Viper stronger than OD in the lane matchup, right? OD's laning phase has been hit pretty decently since the orbs have been just costing more and more mana with every patch, it seems like. But I guess the most interesting lane is this safe lane from PP Hands. You have Slark Oracle up against Bane Spectre. Spectre not very strong, Slark a bit stronger, but Bane is very strong.
Yes. Alright, it sounds like your dog's upset. If you need to do something, by the way, you can take care of it.
She wants to pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, good stuff. Alright, so OD, 4 last hits, 3 denies. This is pretty great. He's already a level ahead of Fixers. Actually, he's destroying him. I know that the wave pushed him pretty far, so it's a little inflated, but you'll see once this wave disappears, you're going to see the experience advantage still in favor of this OD by a pretty fair amount. And that's pretty significant against a Viper. I'm not sure if he went Corrosive Skin level 1. I don't think it matters. Poison Attack is good, but it's not as good as it once was in terms of early level abilities. It doesn't do as much damage, I think. And the cooldown, of course, is pretty rough. So once he gets that leveled up, this lane gets a lot easier for the Viper, but until that point, it might actually be a little tricky. And of course, without Nether Toxin, CSing is a little harder than it used to be, as you can see. Like, with old Nether Toxin, he gets that last hit. And that one, probably. But that's not the case here. They changed the Nether Toxin. The hero just feels like he doesn't dominate lanes as hard, but of course, that's the trade-off when you can stay in the game later into it. But we'll keep our eyes peeled on the matchup. Oh, you're back. Okay, good.
It is a very interesting change. You know, Viper has almost no base damage, but Poison Attack is so strong in lane that you can harass people pretty hard. But you're right, no damage at all.
Yeah, the cooldown is also, like I said, it's the brutal thing about this early. Like if you just spam Poison Attack like you used to be able, I guess there was still some, but it just feels like it's a really long cooldown. You can't just harass and own people as much as you could previously.
Yep, this is a ton of mana too. The early game lane phase from Viper has been hit very hard, but once you hit like that 5 or 6-ish, then it becomes very strong.
Yeah, then you just destroy him. You just have to get to that point without losing the lane super hard. And he's doing okay. You know, he's gotten a lot of his creeps denied, actually. 10 of them, which is a lot. It's a lot of denies going for the OD, but the Viper should be able to get back into it. He's going to be a level down onto the OD, which is pretty brutal, but should still be fine. 2D is dead, actually. First blood for Yaj. He's going to salve up, too. Oh, it was interesting. I guess because the Skyrath was sitting mid so long, they knew they could do something aggressive like that.
Yep, but you know, there's no way Batrider can cancel TP scrolls, right? So if you're ready for that, you can avoid that death. Maybe it'll happen next time, but yeah, I mean, they dodged this. Spectre did not want to have to lane against Axe and Skyrath Mage, and they never swapped lanes at all, even knowing that. So it's very odd.
Yeah.
You know, Axe and Skyrath Mage would take a big fat dump on the Spectre.
I'm surprised they didn't put a little bit more emphasis on it. And you could see 2D's getting some farm, maybe not as much as he would have liked. Polosin is going to go back bottom as he was really trying to help the Viper out. Viper's still level 3. OD going to hit 5 pretty soon. He's going to find an illusion rune to help with it. Oh, just kidding. It's 4 minutes. Instead, it's a haste for jewels, which is probably better, actually. Because he's going to get to Yash quicker, who should be fine. He has already used his stick. 2D's level 3. They're going to try to turn. 2D has 4 stacks. He has no TP. Polosin's going to TP out. The Void already been used. Yaj needs to be careful. Otherwise, he could really go for this kill, and he might do it still. And the 6 stacks, yeah. Battle Hunger comes out, but then he dies immediately, which, of course, gets the Battle Hunger off Yaj, who will go buy his bottle from the secret shop.
Rough stuff for our Axe player in the bottom lane, having to lane against Batrider instead of laning up against the weak Spectre.
I am surprised they're not putting more... Because this Spectre is... Most CS in the game are at least tied with the Slark. You know, they could rotate, and things would get a lot easier for them. But they're not going to. And that also means that Cat has to deal with Enfeeble, which is pretty bad. Anyway, just some harass coming in. Spectral Dagger coming out. Dark Pact onto Cat. And the 5-minute runes coming in. They didn't really time it the best. Actually, if they can... Oh, he doesn't have Nightmare. He's going to get it anyway because he's too fast.
He's so speedy.
And he's just going to TP out. Man, that's huge. They weren't in position for it. And they're going to die. 2D's dead again. This is a really rougher start than I would have expected for Pepe Hands.
At least Skyrath Mage picks up a nice solo kill. Yeah. So tons of experience and gold going his way. Much needed. It feels like with this Axe against the Batrider in the bottom lane, Skyrath Mage has no place on the map to really go. You know, he's not going to do very much sitting mid. If he goes top, same thing. Not much is going to happen there.
Yeah.
They desperately needed the proper lane matchups.
Yep. And it's too late now. We've mentioned it a few times, but there's even switching it at this point is not going to matter.
Yep, it's already too late.
So they're going to be playing for behind pretty much for the whole of this early game until they get like an Axe Blink or something. I don't know how they're going to find kills otherwise because the Slark isn't getting that much either. You know, he's not going to have an early Shadow Blade or anything. It's going to be normally timed. And if they find this Viper, this could be huge. They don't have the lasso, and they're going to try to turn, but they've rotated 3 heroes with Enfeeble. This is already just enough. Like, very far comes out. Yaj will still get this kill, looks like. They almost get him with the Viper, but they don't have enough damage, and he misses his last poison attack. Arcane Bolt, he's got to bottle up, and he's fine. Purifying Flame secures the kill, but it's a Yaj double, so he doesn't really mind anyway. And they might actually get a third out of this. As the silence comes in, they're just going to dive this. Good nighttime. Good Fairy Fire. They need like 2 auto attacks. The Hunter in the night comes out, so they auto attack him down. Fixtures rotates in. Gets Nightmared immediately. Oh, stood a bit too long, but he's going to survive anyway. Man, that's a pretty rough fight there for Pepe Hands. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's the level 5 Batrider coming in. You know, quite awkward, but they make it work out just because they bring the numbers. It doesn't really matter that doesn't have lasso. I don't know. It's rough. I guess the one saving grace for PP Hands is that Slark he's kind of farming. He's kind of farming, but not really.
He had to back up. I think he was getting run at by the team, so he had to go back and regen or something. He's only level 4. Yeah. He looks like he's farming, and then you look at the net worth, and you're like, nah, maybe not.
Yep.
And so this Spectre is off to a great start. Even if he's not the most farmed hero on the map, he's still doing really well. Early treads. We'll see if he goes Vanguard or Radiance or what have you.
You know, because he's in the off lane, it's kind of not natural to, like, bring a lot of heroes and gank him. You know what I mean? Because he's already playing so safe to begin with. He's just taking what he can get, not really trying to fight the Slark. You know, he just farms under his tower safely. So it's pretty awkward to actually try to punish him.
Yeah.
Especially with these heroes. Like, who's going to make that move? Right? Skyrath Mage, level 3 at 8 minutes, double null is nice, but a TP scroll and he's safe every single time.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna nightmare. He doesn't actually have a TP scroll, which is the good news for them. So he will die if Purifying Flames comes out. Obbing does have Haunt if he wants to use it. He's gonna dagger away. Cat did take a lot of damage. They have another Purifying Flames, but it's not gonna be enough. If they could get another Arcane Bolt plus Purifying Flames, that probably would have killed him. They do get the Bane, and that's the issue when he didn't have the TP scroll. Had he had that, he might have been able to TP out. It would have been close anyway, but... All right, well, that's something, I suppose, right? It's not the best, but...
It is something, but 2,000 gold at 8.5 minutes. PP Hands needs something big to stop... God, what was it? The D team, the Hexagon team.
Detonator.
Detonator, that's right. They're just accelerating. You know, Spectre treads Aquila Wand at this early part when he was supposed to have a complete garbage lane phase up against a potential Axe Skywrath Mage dual lane, but that didn't happen. They managed to dodge it, and they just run around at the night time.
So, Haunt, Dead Viper. Until you get False Promise, that just, it's not going to work. That TP won't do anything as long as they bring this amount of numbers again like they have. Nice stick, doesn't matter. Jules double kill. Axe will TP, albeit way too late. I mean, way too late. He is just standing there, essentially looking like, what's happening? I don't know why I TP.
He's a spectator. He's got the popcorn out at this point.
Yeah, but he's not enjoying it because his team is getting flattened. Him especially, you know. It's a 3K lead for Detonator. This is a pretty brutal beatdown at this early stage in the game. 8-3 is the kill score. This Viper, who's supposed to be this tanky hero that can deal with the OD and all these heroes rotating, not really that tanky, and he's died a few times. They really need False Promise, and that's not going to save them. It's, you know, they need a lot more than that. Jewel's going to get run at by Cat, but they're going to turn their attention instead to Yash. He does have Firefly. He flame breaks out. Ova's going to try to find this Slark. He does have Shadow Dance. They do Nightmare him. This is all 5 heroes for Pepe Hands, and it's not going to matter. They will get a big stack out of it, which is nice for 2D, but...
They got every bounty room.
They need to be careful. 2D's dead, I think. He's almost dead. He doesn't actually die.
He's calm. He's calm. He's doing fine.
Okay.
But Detonator took all 4 bounty runes there. And that was with Jules just running in front of all these heroes, and they just couldn't do anything to him.
They're just too far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Axe, Blink Dagger, it's pretty close. They've got some massive jungle stacks thanks to Skywrath Mage's early game, which helps a lot. Axe is going to have a Blink Dagger in about a minute and a half from now.
He's going to have some ridiculous blink call, or Detonator going to have to, like, TP in en masse one after another and just feed their lives away in order for them to... Because if they do fight, they're not going to fight without the Spectre, and he'll just haunt in if he needs to.
Yep, exactly. It'll always be available, pretty much, since he's just going to dodge and avoid everyone and just keep on farming by himself.
I mean, this net worth is ridiculous for Detonator. Like, they almost had 4 heroes above everybody else on Pepe Hands. And they're about to, actually, if the Night Stalker can get some more farm. He's working at a Spirit Vessel. His urn is done. They're going to try to find Cat, who still doesn't have treads. He's about to buy them from the side shop. Go buy your treads. I guess it's a little dangerous considering Yash in the tree line. Don't buy your treads. Probably a bad idea. Don't listen to me.
Yep, Yash has his Blink Dagger, so he's looking to try to find a catch, and it's nighttime.
Right. As soon as that darkness comes out, you back up. You have your Blink Dagger on the axe. You smoke with it. Try to find something. You know, you have False Promise. You got Viper Strike now. You got everything you need in order to take a fight. But you're 4K down, so you have to get a great initiation. But they smoke as 2. They do have Mystic Flare. That is something. They need, like, Yaj or OD or anybody. Spectre would be the biggest target because you stop him from farming, but they're not going to ever find him, I don't think.
Yep, Spectre is just going to pretty much sit in the jungle forever, only farming unless it's absolutely safe. So, yeah, very difficult target to find without map control.
They have spotted the OD. Blink call. What? Oh, he didn't pull the trigger, and that's the blink reveal, and it does nothing, and he just dies for it.
Oh, man. That is not what you want to happen on your blink reveal.
And Fixers is dead, too, now. They didn't even, like, there's no Oracle there to False Promise. I guess he blinked, like, here, and he didn't have high ground vision, so he didn't want to call, I guess.
When he blinked in initially, he was too far. He was gonna miss.
Yeah,
it,
I saw that one it was not a great blink initiation, but he did run up the hill, and I guess he just said we can't do this, Let's not go, even though he was in range of the call that time around. Maybe he got silenced. I'm not sure, actually. Mystic Flare, OD. They got him. You know, just let the supports do all the work, I suppose.
Yep, a much-needed kill on a core hero.
I don't want to make it seem like this game is over. A 4K lead at, 10 to 13 minutes is massive, but they have the tools to work with. It's just really hard.
If you're playing from a gold deficit against a Spectre, the game is already so difficult.
Yeah.
Because usually what happens is this hero is so weak in the early game that you play at a disadvantage. Almost like, how Anti-Mage used to be, and you never see that hero anymore because he sucks. But that's typically the idea, right? You play from behind trying to catch up so that you can cash out with this big Radiance or whatever item Spectre's trying to buy. But yeah, Spectre, because they're winning and they have map control, the Spectre can free farm the entire map, but here's the blink call.
This could be good. Yep, that's really important for them. 2D makes up for the earlier blink and gets now the Cat Slark back into a place where he can actually do some work and get him closer to his Shadow Blade. And he buys a Shadow Amulet.
This is going to be like a 18-minute Shadow Blade.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. Especially because the Spectre's going to have, like, look at his net worth. He's already at almost a Sacred Relic. He was going for Vanguard. I think he sold the components of it, actually. Because he did buy them, and then I think he sold it right after, realizing that I have enough room to buy Radiance now. There's no reason for me to buy Vanguard this game.
Let's get all the space and call up top
Mystic
again.
Flare, big kill. Can they follow it up? They might just want to leave. I think they're going to do it. No way to catch them. The blink was available for the Batrider, but it was too far. Especially when you get the Calling Blade, the move speed buff is too strong. Are they going to smoke with it? It looks like they're getting ready to. They are. Polison doesn't have Mystic Flare for 40. That's a lot of their damage. I think they need to be a little careful with how they approach this next fight.
They want the bounties.
Call. They found the Batrider. And Purifying Flames, the last one does come out. Good Nightmare save. False Promise coming in, though. And Yaj is dead. Purifying Flames really doing a lot of the work in these fights. And good False Promise to avoid that lasso and pulling him back into the rest of the team. In the meantime, Abing is still, you're not really upset if you're the Detonator team. You're like, okay, we lost a couple of heroes in a row, but look at bottom. Look at our Spectre. We just need to calm down, patiently play with Radiance and Haunt, and we can easily win this game.
Yeah, but still very nice moves from PP Hands. They pick up 3 kills in a row in the exact same location, just by backing off, waiting a little bit, and going right back at it. So that's exactly what they need from their Blink Dagger Axe, since he's the only one that can actually make plays on the map until Stark has Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
Now he's actually kind of close to Shadow Blade, so very good.
2D is going to have Blade Mail also relatively soon. And that's actually kind of a big item, I think, against some of these heroes.
Yeah, very nice.
It's going to be... There's a lot of good vision for the Radiant team in the enemy jungle. Although it's not really being abused because of how they've been sort of pushed around top. But this vision might be... Like, I think they might actually smoke under this ward if they're not careful. We'll see. Oh, look at this. They're going to look for a grip. Fixers is going to get nightmared. Good. Silence, though. That's really big, actually. They could turn this. Fortune's End. OD has his Astral. He's going to have to use it. The call comes out. The Mystic Flare. It does split between the two of them, but it's fine, actually. And Owa's dead now. Really big fight. That silence for Polosin is huge. And even with that vision, they lose that engagement for the Radiant. That's pretty surprising, actually.
What a weird game. I mean, now this game looks almost even if it wasn't for the Spectre completely untouched, right?
Yes. Abing has his Relic. I mean, the reason why Spectre is such a strong hero is you talked about how when you're essentially playing at a disadvantage, but when he gets Radiance and he has Haunt, especially early into the game, the amount of damage he does is insane. You kind of just win team fights by pressing R sometimes.
Yep, it causes so much chaos in the fights, right? Like support heroes drop down to like half HP just from the illusion and Radiance burn alone. So yeah, and now it also reduces your vision. You get hit by Desolate, so you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, true. Not to mention you have Darkness on your team. This is going to be a big fight. They're in a little deep. Polosin's going to give his life, it looks like. That's Haunt. They'll try to chase 2D. He has Blink in 10. He's pretty quick, although he only has boots, maybe not. Dagger, they're trying to go out. Nah, they're still chasing with Jewels with Darkness. Flamebreak pushes him forward, but they don't have the Slark. They will get back in time. So that's Haunt down, only for Polosin. That's not that bad for Pepe Hands.
Yep, not bad at all. Slark with the Shadow Blade can start looking to get active now that Haunt is on cooldown. And he's going to find this haste rune, it looks
Yeah.
like.
Oh,
Yep.
Jules is dead.
Is
No, he's not. He's got the scroll. He's pretty smart.
False alarm.
Sorry, guys. That's a very smart play. They just didn't have anybody else there to cancel the TP. And that's the Shadow Blade reveal too. That could have been a kill, but a really smart reaction from the. As soon as he sees the haste rune gone, though, he can immediately start that TP. But he actually waited. He's like, okay, well, there's somebody here. I don't know who it is. And he realized this very quickly, so he was ready to go. While this is all happening, the Viper's been quietly farming. He has Helm of the Dominator, and taking towers is going to be pretty critical with this Helm of the Dominator creep. Radiance is up, though, for the Spectre. But no Haunt for 78 seconds. They might just want to let this go. I think it's too dangerous to fight, especially considering it's daytime still for another minute or so. They're going to go anyway.
Yeah, Radiant Spectre. They want to fight this
They want to. The call comes in, though. They've got the Mystic Flare. Jules is dead. The lasso comes out. They have the False Promise. The lasso is done. Cat needs to be careful. It's a lot of damage. He does have a Shadow Blade. He needs to run. He took a lot of damage there from the Radiance Burn. It was very dangerous, and they actually have to leave. Grip comes out. Fixers is probably dead, and they can't even get the tower out of this. He is maybe going to auto-attack a few times. Can they go back in is the question. I don't think they can. Fixer stays alive a bit longer than I thought he would. The reason they couldn't keep going is Cat had to regen. He was super low in HP, and now Polison's going to fall too. Obbing's Radiance is going to start doing a lot of work here. Polison survives for now. He has to back up, though. Drops up the concussive shot. That'll hit onto the Bane, but that's it. Yaj is looking for more, but the fight is over. So they kill Jules. They can't quite get the tier 1 tower. It is in deny range. And the Radiance showing up in a big way there for Obbing, I think.
Yeah, big time. Perfect timing for that. The item is still so strong that they were actually able to defend that even without a Haunt. And they actually got a really good initiation off. The Axe Call was fantastic with the Mystic Flare, but alright, they're smoking up. Haunt is up in 4 seconds. But they don't care. It's nighttime. Stark has the vision, so they'll be able to find the jump, hopefully.
This will be interesting to see how it goes. They'll head top. They know that the OD astraled up here, so they have a good feeling about this. And the OD actually is pretty far back with the Bane. Yaj on the high ground. Cat has Shadow Bladed, and he's almost going to lose it. Now, there it goes. Yaj in trouble. Astral save, but the call, Mystic Flare, that's probably way worse. Good Nightmare save, but he's dead anyway. Yaj will survive, actually. I cannot believe he did. Tutti getting low. They've already lost the Slark. I was surprised he died, but the Haunt plus the Radiance, I'm sure, did way too much damage to him. And
yeah, he actually died to the unit coming out of Astral Imprisonment, that 300 damage nuke.
Jules got a double
That was
kill.
enough.
Is he really going to continue the chase? I'm not going to get able to look at this fight recap, sadly. Rip onto the Viper who took the tower got denied. Wow, he didn't get the tower. That's pretty sad. And he could go on Yaj. He's not going to. Instead, he's going to die to Jules, give him a triple kill. That's pretty rough that the fight ended the way that it did. Because they had a great start. They almost kill Yaj. Then they kill the OD. And somehow they still win the fight anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the Haunt. You know, with the Radiance, it does way too much damage.
I think you need to put False Promise on the Slark. I know you want to use it on whoever gets lassoed, but, like, I think the Slark cannot afford to die in these fights.
Yep. If Slark lives, right, he can come in and out, regen, build up the Essence Shift stacks, and perhaps dish out some more damage. But, I don't know. It feels like they just don't have enough damage.
Yeah.
Not enough items yet, right? Slark not even at the Echo Saber yet. That'll help him a lot in these fights to stack up the Essence Shifts. Viper still pretty much nothing.
Yeah, he does nothing in these engagements. Like,
yeah, he has no way back in the game.
He feels almost useless in this game right now. You know, the Yodi actually can provide some damage in astral saves. Viper has a creep. That's pretty much all he does. If you can get Maelstrom, the game gets a little easier, but it's an 8K lead now, and a lot of that is because of the 3 heroes on the top of the net worth list. Obbing being the big one. He's got a Yasha. He's going to work on a Manta Style plus the Vanguard. And his Haunt is up in 40. So I don't know what you do here as Pepe Hands. You had a couple of good kills earlier on when you got your big items, but now you're realizing that you couldn't deal with the Spectre and that it is a big issue. And I don't know what you do to change that.
It's just so easy to play the game from this sort of a lead, especially with the Spectre, right? When you press Haunt, it gives you vision of everyone, cancels out any potential blinks, so that means if Axe isn't jumping first, like if they happen to get scouted by Night Stalker and they pop Haunt, they're going to get to jump first every time.
Yeah. They're going to have a Crimson Guard pretty soon for the Night Stalker, which means they don't do any damage on Dire. Like, Slark won't even do that much damage even with Essence Shift. He's going to go for an Echo Saber instead of like a straight BKB, which is fine. They definitely need more damage, but it means he's going to not be as survivable. And of course, we've talked so much about the Spectre and not so much about the OD, who is Blink Force. And OD is perfectly fine with the amount of farm that he has. He's going to have level 4 Astral or Arcane Orb soon, which means he does a ton of damage already, like just through his spells alone without any real big items. But of course, he does have Blink Force, so he's still fine. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yep, it's rough. And Axe dies to neutrals. It's the
Oh my
gosh
God, he
darn
died to neutrals?
Ancient Prowler Shaman. Yep. That one gets everyone.
Embarrassing. Yeah, the Ancient Prowler Shaman, when you have like a creep... when I stack Ancients, I try to avoid Ancient Prowler Shamans. If there is one, I just say, somebody else help me take this.
They're dangerous.
They are very dangerous. They're actually just the most annoying Ancient creeps in the game, by far. Anyway, they're going to go for a push bottom, and I think a smart play here would be to push mid if you're Pepe Hands, and I think they're going to do that. Being back from Yaj. It's an Invis rune, actually.
Okay, they see him now.
Nice silence, but he forces himself out of trouble for now. Astral save, and now the Slark's in trouble. He has to Shadow Dance, and they can't keep fighting. Haunt is down. The illusions are gone. But Cat is on his own, and that's not going to work.
Very dead.
Yeah, very, very dead. The saves, like, if they could... The whole point of Pepe Hands' lineup is they find, like, one disable, they drop a Mystic Flare, they blow somebody up somehow. That can't happen when Astral Save and 4 stabs are a thing.
Exactly, right? It can happen as a gank on a side lane, but once they're grouped up on Detonator, then it's just not going to happen, especially with Blink 4 Staff on the OD. Even just the 4 Staff can reset the, well, can dodge out pretty much all the damage from Mystic Flare, but there's the combo.
This time it might work, although Night Stalker is inherently tanky. He does get dropped. If the Lasso comes out, there's no Oracle here to give him a false promise. They'll probably kill the Scarith. Whether or not they can get 2D, well, yes, they can. He's going to call it, does nothing. And that's the grip on Polo Sin. So 1 for 2. Night Stalker is not bummed about that at all. No gem on him, which is good news. Even if you had one, they would have gotten it back anyways. An 11k lead now for Detonator at this point in the game.
Yep, 11k Inspector gets scarier and scarier, and OD gets that much closer to Hex. That's the big item that Stark just can't really afford to play against, you know. Oracle can help him survive through it, but it's still not easy to deal with. That's just OD stacking up more intelligence.
Yeah, he needs to get to a BKB for Cat, but that's not anywhere near. They pick up a gem for Yaj right as Cat was looking to kill him. Couldn't find it, though. And, again, Viper feels pretty useless in these fights. At least the Slark was providing some damage. Viper's still not doing that.
Yep, he's about to pick up his, Maelstrom, right? He's got the Hammer on Courier. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's about to get the Javelin, but they are going to need some miracle fights here with the 13k deficit. I mean, it's not even like they've lost racks yet, but they're so far behind now. Shadowblade for 2D, maybe that's the item, but now that they have Gem, probably not.
It's rough.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I think you could just take one more fight, take Roche, then take Buildings if you're Detonator.
So, look at it this way, right? Detonator, they're super strong. Their late game is incredibly good, but they struggle to end the game. Which means PP Hands can always look for some sort of gank on the silence, but oh boy, that's the gem coming to play, and Haunt comes out.
Promise. They could still keep going. Cat is going to get pushed back. He's going to try to pounce away. They did already kill Insidious C. Cat's going to survive. 2D was looking to go back in. Cat's dead, I think. Like, they're running up high ground. It doesn't matter. Oh, that call whiffed wildly. And Fixers is dead. Whether or not they get Cat, they will. Abing gets a double. Mystic Flare, good Nightmare save, but they're going to find the OD anyway. Cat buys back. He's going to TP in. Fixers is really low, though, and he's going to get dropped by Abing. They're going to buy back another. That's going to be Oracle. Almost finding OM. This is the pounce. Cat might die again. The Radiance Burn, my God, it's so much damage. Triple kill. Abing can maybe even get like a Rampage out of this, I think. Insidious will die. There's the Ultra. Can he get to 2D in time? It's going to be close.
There's the Dagger.
The Dagger, not enough.
Doesn't get it.
So he gets almost to Rampage. At this point, he probably should have gotten the Rampage with how farmed he is. He has 15k net worth. The amount of damage he did in that fight, it was 7,000 damage for the Spectre. The next closest person was the Night Stalker with 1,800. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know how to play against Spectre, pretty much do the opposite of this, because he got free farmed. There was nothing they could do about it. I don't want to give too much crap to Pepe Hands. It was unfortunate. They kind of got themselves back in the game after a very rough laning phase, but the thing is, once Spectre gets free farm and gets an early Radiance, the game just spirals out of control, especially with squishy heroes like this Skywrath Mage. I mean, this is brutal. It's an ATK lead. They've got everything going.
The whole game changes once this Radiance comes out, and you know, PP Hands had a pretty decent idea of how to deal with it in the lane phase, but they just didn't get the right lane matchup, right? And then they never swapped. They didn't chase the Spectre around, so Spectre did get free farm.
Yeah. They were too busy dealing with the top lane and other heroes elsewhere that they could never really focus on dealing with Aubing, who just got a free lane and a free tower at bottom for like 5 minutes, and that's all you really need. Just 5 minutes of free farm when you've already got a good start. And that's your Radiance. And it's a good thing he didn't go for the Vanguard. Had he done that, maybe these fights go a lot differently for Pepe Hands than like 10 minutes ago or something.
Yep, Vanguard's the item you build when you want to be able to pressure the enemy. But he didn't have to do that at all. He just needed to farm. That was just his job, right? His team took care of everything else. He had all the space in the world to work with, so he had that luxury to hoard 5,200 gold to buy the Radiance.
I mean, this is with Yaj not really providing that much other than like a lasso for half a second. You know, this night the Bat Rider, it's a combination of the heroes. Bat Rider and Night Stalker getting the vision, you know, and just kind of taking over the map. But he hasn't done anything on the Bat Rider specifically that has warranted, you know, him getting shut down.
He blinks in, they use False Promise, and then Haunt comes out.
Yes.
That's it, right? The job is just to bait the enemy, to try to, you know, stand their ground and fight a little bit.
You need a call.
There's the Shadow Blade Axe.
I think they're going to spot Oa. All right, well, that's a dead Bane, but what else can they get out of this? There's going to be the Haunt. Insidious C is dead before he can even get his False Promise off, which is really bad. They've already lost Cat as the realities keep coming from Aubing. Fixers is getting pushed back. Yaz and Jules are going to just dive. At this point, they are so tanky that they can afford to. Odie jumps in with the Sanities, does some damage, not enough to get to the kill on the Viper, but they're going to dive him anyways. 2D's about to fall. Luckily gets off his Shadow Blading time. Diving a little deep. They'll buy back onto Skywrath Mage. They find Bat Rider. That's the gem. But they've already lost Rax in mid. Oh, that was a little aggressive.
Quite deep. And they managed to get a gem out of it, so some things not going not horribly wrong for PP Hands. Gem's a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing with the Slark.
It's better than nothing. And that's pretty much what they got out of that fight, was nothing. It was 1 kill, well, 2, because the Bane did buy back. So 1 kill, 1 buyback, 1 gem. 2 kills, 1 buyback, 1 gem, sorry. That's correct.
Yeah, but this gold lead it's pretty difficult to come back from this sort of a deficit when you're playing against such strong late game heroes in the OD Spectre. When you look at the net worth, 4 heroes from Detonator at the top of the charts. OD just picks up his Hex too, so Slark is going to do almost nothing in these fights. He'll survive for a bit longer with False Promise, but there they go. That's a nice clean pick off if they needed.
That's 60 extra seconds for Pepe Hands to survive in this game. The one thing is that they don't have that hero to finish the game like DK. You know, this game could have been over 5 to 10 minutes ago.
Yep, this is not a game they want to play at the 60-minute mark.
Yeah. Like, there's just no real objective takers. And 2D? It's only call on 1, so Astral Save comes at me. Actually, it's an Astral on the Axe, and now he gets hexed up. That's a Hex. Good False Promise, though. But now Cat doesn't have that same safety guard, and they actually had the last, they held on to it. They're looking for Yaj. They will find Insidious C. Fixers is dead. They keep realitying in like crazy. All 5 dead. I wouldn't be surprised if they GG here, but it looks like they're not going to. Okay, they did.
There it is.
Well, I think that's probably fine.
Yeah, I think this game is they never got to play the game.
No.
You know, they didn't lane properly, and because of that, Spectre had a complete free game, and Axe had a complete shit game, when it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
Entirely.
I was surprised they didn't switch the lanes up. I think you were too. I think if the lanes are switched, even if the Yoshimido try to, you know, swap it around themselves, I think it's still better than nothing. You got to try it.
Yep, for sure. That's more time Spectre's just running around and not hitting creeps, right?
Yes. Like, she got a lot of CS in the first 5 minutes of the game before she had to go bottom. You think about the Slark against the Night Stalker and all those heroes, but the Slark against the Spectre OD didn't work out. He got crushed. He's too squishy. Once the Spectre got Radiance, he just burned from the Radiance burn. Viper did literally nothing in that game. And I think that it's usually, like, Viper used to be a really good OD counter, but you saw in the laning phase what happens in the early levels. Like, OD still gets off to a fast start against this Viper anyways. I don't know. I'm not sure if Viper was the pick. I don't know how to feel about this hero. There's a lot of questions.
It's such a weird hero. His levels, like 1 through 3, are just so weak.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal now, whereas Nether Toxin used to at least give him a little bit. That's not the case anymore, and they take a brutal first game loss. Detonator looked amazing in this particular game. But we do have a second game coming up. I don't know when we're going to get into it. It shouldn't take that long for us to have our break and then get into our last game. It is our last game today, of course. So Detonator sitting at 2 points now, 3 points in Group A. They've already lost one full series, and they've tied 2. So they're still pretty far behind, but if they can take a 2-0 win here, it'd be pretty huge for them. Anyways, we'll take a break. We'll jump into our next series as soon as it's ready. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back.